So in summary, the impacts of 1033 is it significantly, in addition to requiring additional cuts, it undercuts our ability to rebound from down economic cycles and makes it difficult to rebuild our reserves during good economic times to create a cushion for the next recession. And recall, we've been using the cushion from your good fiscal management in past years that you were referencing, Commissioner. We've been drawing on that since 2008. We've been drawing that fund balance down to help soften the landing in this economic down cycle. We may not have that to the same extent in future years. Also, very significantly, the county's revenue base would repeatedly and permanently shrink during future recessions, because each recession sets a new base revenue amount. So then, so you're going along, you have recession, your revenue falls. Now that's a new base that's constrained by the population implicit price deflator, even during the good times, and then guess what? You have another economic cycle and it falls again. So you have this continual erosion of the buying power of your general fund revenues.
So in the next recession, it just doesn't stay where it is now, it actually drops again?
If revenues drop, such as sales tax revenues, etc.
I didn't realize that.
You know, some of our programs, all costs typically rise faster than the implicit price deflator and population, but that's especially true of programs like public safety and infrastructure. So, you know, public safety, just because of the national wage rate competition between cops, you know, you see healthy growth there. So also services are not just driven by inflation or population growth. When crime rates go up, you want to be able to dispatch additional police officers or sheriff deputies. If you have a pandemic like we're facing right now with H1N1, your costs for public health go up. If you have natural disasters and environmental crises, such as a bay closing because of water quality problems, you know, you want to be able to put money into it. This hampers our ability to do that. Also, 1033 does not allow citizens to preserve services by shifting services out of the general fund with new dedicated revenues. While it does allow voter-approved new revenues, if, for example, we were to wish to offload family planning and privatize it to a nonprofit, if we offload the service, my understanding of 1033 is we would have to restrict our revenues as well. We basically need to contract the revenues by the amount that was going to that service. So you can't give programs and services away to another service provider or send it over to another fund if there is an appropriate county fund that you could shift the service to. You can't do that without penalizing the general fund revenue under 1033. So where do we go from here? We will be using today's analysis of 1033 to prepare a target for additional budget cuts that would be necessary if I-1033 is adopted in November. This month, actually starting this week, we are holding meetings with the department heads and elected officials to review potential balancing strategies and to continue collaborating together on finding ways to meet our budget reduction targets. In November, you will receive my recommendation with the help of the department directors and electeds and Ann for a balanced budget. And you are scheduled to hold a public hearing about the budget on Monday, December 7th, to receive public testimony on the budget that we will have transmitted to you. You may or may not elect to make changes to that, and ultimately you will adopt a 2010 budget that will be balanced for the end of this year. And with that, opening up for any questions you may have.
One thing is, we can go out to the voters to ask for a levy increase, but that applies to every other governmental entity impacted by this too. I could see a situation where we have to really coordinate with the others to really look at how we do that. The voters could be faced with a number of those every year and choices between those.
Yeah, this only applies to county, cities, and in the state. It doesn't apply to the other
So
countries.
it'd just be the city and county, not the fire districts,
No.
courts, or
No, this initiative exempts
courts.
them, courts.
Okay.
Question?
Yeah, you might flesh it out.
What Jack says is true, then if our office, the elections office, has to conduct a lot of additional elections, not normally, does that bring up our revenue, even though the expenditure's up? How does that, what happens there? Is it the